Live, raw, uncut, and uncensored. It's just for clicks. Featuring your host, Michael Buckeister.
And welcome to Just for Clicks, guys. I am Michael Buckeister. This is live, raw, and uncut sports talk here on this Thursday night with my man, Marcus the Sports Freak. Marcus, how was your Thursday day, man?
It's just another night watching NBA TNT, Milwaukee against Boston, man.
Milwaukee versus Boston. What's that score you got over there?
Milwaukee was up by a bunch, and Boston caught up. Now it looks like Milwaukee's pushing the lead back. So it's in Milwaukee. I expected Milwaukee to win.
Yeah, so we really didn't have any NBA talk scheduled for tonight's show, but I did see on the basketball game last night that Markelle Fultz got his second triple-double ever in his career after basically not ever playing with the Philadelphia 76ers. Do you think he has a future in the NBA after that showing last night and kind of like what he's done so far?
Absolutely. I've always been a believer in Markelle Fultz. There was a lot of people that doubted him. You know, he had the problem, obviously, the yips or whatever the hell that's called, where he couldn't shoot the ball anymore. But the guy's extremely talented. He's got Kyrie Irving type talent with his handles, and he's got Derrick Rose leaping ability. So the guy's got all kind of game. And a lot of people are labeling him a bust, man. The kid was 20 years old. Now, what is he, like 21 or something? I mean, let's hold off.
He doesn't turn 22 till after the season's over.
Yeah, let's hold off on the bust category yet, man. The guy's got a lot of talent, and he's proving it right now. If he can ever get his shot back to where it was at the University of Washington when he was a freshman, you've got an excellent player in your hands.
Yeah, I really don't know what his issue was. Like, was it like a Vince Young head case type of thing, or drugs? Like, I don't really know whatever happened to him. But if anybody has some insights for us, the phone lines are open tonight. We have 502-771-0364 are our phone lines. They are open and ready for us to take your phone call, guys. So, Marcus, do you have any idea why he did what he did?
I think it's all mental. I don't know if there was any drugs involved or anything like that. It's just, I'm not sure the term for it. He just forgot how to shoot the basketball, and it just, I don't know. He's like spooked or scared. It's almost like he forgot everything, his mechanics, everything. And so he's getting a little better at it now. But man, if he used to be able to shoot the ball really well. I don't know what happened. Some people called it, I don't know, the yips or something. I'm not even sure the term, but it was very weird. And but it looks like he's got all the talent in the world. It looks like he's going to come back from it. And I'm not going to put that.
I remember talking about this last year, and I thought they said he had some shoulder issues, like tingling in his fingers. Like I don't remember exactly what it was by like any means, but I'm going to call it, like maybe he was just scared of the spotlight. Like when you do so well at a high school level or a college level, and you are expected to perform on a top tier team, your butthole just gets a little puckered and just things just happen. So bust maybe, or maybe he just never had it, but like it is what it is. But he did get a second, ever career triple double last night with the Orlando Magic. Congrats to that guy. Like I said, guys, here the phone lines are open at 502-771-0364. Feel free to call us, chit chat, whatever you like to. Marcus and myself are open to conversation all night here. So let's get into the second breaking news of the day. Odell Beckham Jr. worn out for his arrest for sexual harassment or sexual assault for smacking a security guard on the butt. Marcus, I got to ask you, is this the beginning of the end of Odell?
It probably is. Drew Rosenhaus just dropped him as a client. So it's pretty bad when Drew Rosenhaus drops you. I mean, Drew Rosenhaus will, he might defend a guy on death row. And so Drew Rosenhaus drops you, you're probably in a little bit of trouble. So that's a bad sign right there. He is losing it a little bit. So I listen, slapping a security guard on the butt. I don't see any big deal about that. But it is weird. He's just a weird guy, just a weird cat, man.
A couple things that concern me. Me and my wife were talking about this on the way home from feeding the cows and like whatnot earlier tonight. Why is this just now coming out? He did it on Monday night. Why on Thursday, 3 days later, are they just now issuing a warrant? Like, if he I saw the video, he was obviously drunk or high or whatever he was. He smacked the guy on the butt, and the security guard, like, he was upset. But when he turned around, he was like, "It's like, oh, it is Odell. No, it is no big deal." So I feel like the security firm that he works for, or the police department, they wanted to get their 10 seconds of fame, like get a little clout. So I really don't think anything is going to come of this. Odell will pay him off, give him $1 million. Like, hey, just let this sweep underneath the rug. But why? If it was a big deal, he should have been arrested right there on the spot.
Yeah, and let me clarify myself. You asked me, is he becoming Antonio Brown? And Drew Rosenhaus dropped Antonio Brown just a little while ago, not Odell Beckham.
Right.
Let me clarify that real quick. Listen, Michael, this is much ado about nothing. I mean, golly, he gave the security guard a slap on the butt. It is not. He is nauseating. No, it's annoying. Why would you do that? Probably had one too many. But really, I mean, it is much ado about nothing. But the Cleveland Browns, I mean, it's one of those things where things keep happening. Things keep happening, just like with the Giants. Things keep happening. Things keep happening. And after a while, man, your bad outweighs the good, man. If you're not super successful and you become a headache week after week, even in the off season,
right?
They're not going to release him today or tomorrow, but eventually, you're right. Your Antonio Brown question comes into play. That's why I mentioned the Drew Rosenhaus thing just dropped Antonio Brown. Odell Beckham could be heading down that road. It's possible.
So one of the biggest red flags for me as a secondary Cowboys fan, and then you obviously as a passionate Cowboys fan over there in the Texas Lone Star State, I saw an Instagram video that Ezekiel Elliott was hanging around Odell Beckham Jr. In the locker room after the game as well. Zeke has history, punching the security guard, tearing down tops. Why is Zeke associated with that?
I have no idea. That's a great question. I mean, would it shock you at all if you found out, Odell Beckham and Zeke Elliott got in a fight, 2 nights ago or last night or whatever, and then somebody got punched and now somebody's suing anybody or suing people? I mean, listen, these guys are really young. Zeke's still young. Hopefully they'll evolve and they'll learn. But yeah, if I'm the Cowboys, I immediately call Ezekiel Elliott's representation and ask him what's going on with him and Odell Beckham and who's, just to be careful. What did they had a detail on what Dez Bryant for a couple of years there.
Right.
I'm hoping that it doesn't get to that with Ezekiel Elliott, but you never know, man.
I hope it does. Keep that guy clean.
Yeah, I mean, $90 million running back, which is kind of ridiculous. It sounds crazy. Right. I would, $90 million. I don't think he'll ever see the full $90 million. I think he'll be released in a couple of years. They just don't make it that long. So I you know what? They might. You're right, Michael. They might put a detail on him already.
Well, we kind of talked about this earlier in the week, or maybe it was last week, when the Cowboys did hire Mike McCarthy as their coach, and that he doesn't need a featured power back. So Zeke did sign the $80 or $90 million contract. I can't remember how much it was, but every offseason he has gotten in some type of clout, whether it's it's the security guard issue, whether it's this issue. Like granted, he did not do anything. He did not get caught, but it is guilty by association. So he is around Odell Beckham Jr. clearly drunk, just doing stupid shit. And you cannot have your star running back do that. There are other valuable options out there. We can trade Ezekiel Elliott. The Giants, like the Cowboys, sloppy seconds. Get Zeke too. I would be happy with Kareem Hunt for $3 million. Pay your man Dak. Pay your man like Amari Cooper, Randall Cobb. Yeah, there's Zeke better keep his nose clean.
Yeah, I mean, you just said you got to make that phone call, and you got to just tell him to watch what he's doing, just to be careful out there. That's the bottom line. And as far as Mike McCarthy's system, not featuring a great running back or whatever, I do think they're going to feature Zeke next year. I think what'll happen is
you have to.
He'll never
right?
he'll never get the 30 carries though under Mike McCarthy. Maybe not even 25. He'll be in that 15 to 20 range, and he'll have more receptions now as a running back, and Zeke can catch the ball now. So
right,
look for Zeke to get more receiving yards, and look for Pollard to be a little more integral part in this new system.
Yeah, on the flip side of the coin, I did just get an alert earlier tonight that Kellen Moore will be doing the play calling. So maybe, just maybe, they will need that power back in Zeke, and he might get 30 carries like a game, or like at least 20 plus. But let's kind of read between the lines a little bit here. This is just for clicks, and we make unnecessary assumptions on this show. Maybe Zeke was recruiting Odell Beckham Jr. to come to Cowboy Land because he's probably not happy in Cleveland. He's kind of made subtle statements like, "Hey, I hate it here. Baker sucks," yada yada yada, and we might lose Amari Cooper to free agency. How would you feel if Odell Beckham Jr. came to the Dallas Cowboys?
Sure. I'd love the talent, but I don't want the headaches. We saw that already in Dez Bryant. I want to re-sign Amari Cooper. I wouldn't want anything to do with Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham is, not going to win you Super Bowls. I mean, I can't remember the last. I mean, there hasn't been too many receivers take your team to the promised land. I mean, it's just not. It's not going to happen. So no, I would not want that at all. They can keep Odell Beckham. As far as trading Ezekiel Elliott, man, hey, that's possible. If he started acting like a knucklehead and somebody offered up a second round pick and they're starting running back, I'd actually look into it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hinted on that back in July or August when he was holding out. We had Pollard, and I thought he did pretty well that first, during the preseason in that first week. I thought he did well, and I actually picked him up on my fantasy team. I'm glad I did, because he won me a few games there earlier in the season. So I definitely think he can carry the workload, and I just cannot get Kareem Hunt out of my head. I think he would fit great in Dallas.
Yeah, no, he would. And you may not even have to Ezekiel Elliott for a second-round pick and a player, and you could sign Carlos Hyde. Because I don't think Pollard's ready to take that mantle, getting 20 carries and another 10 catches. I just don't think that he's not that player. He's not that dude. He's a good player. He's a good piece. Right. But you got to bring in Carlos Hyde. You got to trade for Kareem Hunt if you're going to get rid of Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick little –
okay. No, this is a good running back draft too. So they won't take him any running backs with the 17th pick, but it's a good running back draft.
Okay. So, I mean, we are going to jump in the draft here after the break. But do you think the Cowboys draft a running back this year?
No. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if you take a flyer on a fourth or fifth round running back. That wouldn't shock me at all. But no, I mean, when you're paying one running back $90 million, and you have Tony Pollard, backing him up. I don't think you need a running back. I was just saying that just in case they got rid of Ezekiel Elliott, then
Right.
your focus would be changed. You signed Carlos Hyde in the offseason. Your focus would change maybe to drafting a running back in that 4th round.
All right, guys. So we're going to take our quick little commercial break here. Got to pay the bills. On the other side of the break, we have to talk the next exciting news: cheating in baseball. Imagine that. It's back. Houston Astros put an asterisk by that World Series. Guys, join us right after the break. We'll be back in a couple seconds. And welcome back to Just for Clicks, guys. I am Michael Buck Cautious, live, raw, and uncut sports talk with my man, Marcus the Sports Freak. Marcus, you are a Texan, or you are a Texan. You like all Texan sports. Houston Astros. You don't like the Rockets, but Spurs.
No.
Obviously, you got the Spurs hat on. Texans, Cowboys. First of all, we all know what's going on with the baseball cheating scandal. What are your thoughts on it before I give my two cents on it?
Well, first off, let me say this. I hear a lot of music in the background. Is that
good?
Yeah, no. You talking about the cheating scandal in baseball? It's terrible. And I'm an Astros fan. It's not a good look. It's not good. It's it sucks. Let's just keep it real. It sucks. But let me say this. I understand all the. Listen, I'll take all comers. It is terrible. I mean, I'm not going to be one of these delusional fans that's going to deny that it's not terrible. I mean, it's bad. But let me say this though. I don't think the punishment was that great. In other words, no players got suspended. They said bye-bye to the manager, bye-bye to the GM. You got to do that. But I mean, I listen, the Astros are still going to win 95 to 100 games. They didn't suspend any players. And also, let me tell you something. The bottom line is, hey, you can't erase my memories from my head, man. I mean, it's still good. The trophies are still going to be in the trophy case. The checks cleared. Altuve and Bregman are fine. So I mean, it's bad. But it wasn't as bad as it could have been. They could have got some players and stuff like that, but they didn't. And they didn't take away any trophies. They didn't vacate any championships. They didn't do any of that. So, like I said, the checks cleared, the trophies are good, and my memories are still good.
Yeah, and I believe you are going with what the mass majority of the people are like saying, "Oh, this is bad. Let me shake your finger at you. Bad." People, you guys have to realize baseball is a game of cheating. You try to steal signs. You try to cheat your way into winning football or to baseball games. You cork bats. You take steroids. If you are not cheating in baseball, you are not trying hard enough. The only thing is that the Houston Astros happen to get caught. When you implement technology into a game of cheating, I mean, think about this. They have dugout coaches. Their jobs are trying to steal signs from the third base coach. That is their whole job. When you incorporate technology into the mix, what do you think they're going to do? Are they not going to use it? Come on now. The only reason why baseball is kind of just shaking their fingers about this whole thing is because the Houston Astros are the only ones that got caught. Everybody knows that the Royals have been doing it. The Rangers have been doing it. The Yankees have been doing it. Everybody in the Major League Baseball has been doing it. Just the Houston Astros happen to get caught. I don't even know how they got caught. They didn't pay a player a contract money or something. And the player's we were cheating.
Their former players, I think Mike Fiers, I think he pulled the plug on that issue.
Right.
And
so
also, you might find out, Michael, that more teams are going to are cheating. Astros were just the beginning.
Yeah, I believe they've already come out and said that the 2018 World Series champions have been accusing for cheating just as well. But the bottom line is tipping pitches, stealing signs, that does not mean it helps you so fraction of an amount. You still have to hit the ball. You still have to see that slider coming at you at 93 miles an hour and breaking 6 inches. You know, it is still baseball. Yeah. The hardest sport in the world. I don't care if I know a changeup is coming every third pitch. When you go from 103 mile an hour to 80, like, it's still hard. It's still hard. So I applaud those people for using technology to their advantage. Yeah, you can call it cheating, whatever. Get that crap out of here. It's not cheating. It is playing in the gray area. There was no rule saying that you couldn't use the instant replay camera to steal signs. Now there is. Now, if they did it again and again they got caught, then it's cheating. Before, it was just playing in the gray area.
The second hardest thing to do in professional sports is to hit a baseball. The first thing is to play quarterback in the National Football League. So yeah, absolutely, hitting a baseball is tough, man. I mean,
even if you know what is coming, it's still difficult.
Michael Jordan is considered the greatest athlete of all time, but yet he batted what, 200?
You think Michael Jordan's the greatest athlete of all time? He might be the greatest basketball player of like all time, but the greatest athlete?
Well, I mean, it's up for debate. He's got to be top 5. My point was that he's a great athlete and he couldn't hit the baseball. He's a 200 hitter in the minor leagues.
In the minor leagues. So.
Right. So that's very hard to do. Yeah.
So from all the fallout of this scandal, really only one player has been named. That's Carlos Beltran. He was a DH on that Houston Astros team that year. He has been named the Mets manager. He's been forced to step down / got fired, etc. Do you think this is okay for them to fire? Like what do you think their thought process is behind firing him or asking him to step down? I should say.
Yeah, it was actually a little surprising to me that they were asking, that they asked Carlos Beltran to step down, but. Man, Major League Baseball is in a little bit of a panic right now. They don't want to see people just listen. It's already a regional sport. Not that many people watch it, to be honest. I mean, right. If your team's not in it, a lot of times you don't watch in it. Right. A lot of the old timers have gotten older and they've left. The young kids don't watch baseball as much, and so they don't want these young kids to go, they're cheating, and they turn away. So they're dropping the hammer down on these firings. So yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen next?
Well, let me go on the flip side of that coin. Think about every time Major League Baseball has been quote caught with cheating. The Black Sox thing, the Pete Rose thing, the steroids. How popular was baseball when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were going back and forth for that last couple months of the season to the race to 62 home runs, I believe it was at the time, or when Barry Bonds hit the 70th home run. How many people were tuning in to those games? So if you can steal signs and then I can hit the ball out of the park, that will baseball probably loves this, to be honest. We are talking about them in the middle of the NFL playoffs when baseball starts in like a month, spring training for a month and a half, and then like April is exciting because baseball's here. Oh, yay. And then we're like, oh, it's basketball season. And then you get excited for baseball again in about August, September, October. Right. So for us to be talking about Major League Baseball right now in the month of January, I forget who the commissioner is. David Stern. No, it's not David. Slipping my mind. The commissioner of Major League Baseball, he is excited that this is coming out right now. They cannot buy this publicity that they're getting. Let's be totally honest.
Yeah, it used to be Bud Selig. I don't think. Listen, this is not the way they want it, though. I'm sure they want the attention. You're talking about the attention that they're getting. But I don't know if they want it this way.
Haters make you famous, man.
And then talk about when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, that was must see TV, man.
Yeah,
that was literally must see TV.
I remember sitting on my couch watching. Like there'd be a ticker down at the bottom, like Barry Bonds is expected to be at bat in like 5 minutes, or it was so like it was very exciting.
Yeah, Roger Maris record of 61 home runs, and that night that Mark McGwire hit that 62nd home run, and Roger Maris's family was there. I mean, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, that was unbelievable to watch. And Rob Manfred he replaced Bud Selig a few years ago. Rob Manfred,
there you go. Yep.
But anyways, yeah, that was fun to watch, man. That was really fun to watch.
But would that have ever happened if steroids wasn't a part of baseball? If there wasn't cheating happening in the baseball?
No,
probably not, right?
No, I mean, Mark McGwire was still hitting like 49. I think he had 49 as a rookie. He could
but
still
not 62.
Not 62, and Barry Bonds wasn't hitting 70 or whatever the hell he ended up hitting. Right. If it not for steroids, Hank Aaron's record would have been safe. That's 715, 714.
Right.
And nobody's breaking Hank Aaron's record. But Barry Bonds juiced up, and he broke the record. I still consider Hank Aaron the greatest home run hitter of all time, not Barry Bonds. But, hey, it was fun to watch Barry Bonds, though.
Yeah, and the reason why it was fun was because baseball cheated. Yeah, so I'm not like obviously if it was written in the rules, then yes, it would be cheating. But the fact that the stealing of the signs using technology was not in the rule book, you were playing it. It is unwritten rule. It's kind of like a mutual agreement upon everybody. That is why they're not stripping titles. That is why that they're not suspending players, etc. So
yeah, no, you can't. They weren't gonna suspend any players. I mean, but that's good though. I mean, that's why the Astros they kind of got lucky. To be honest, the players are still going to go out there. And matter of fact, the Astro players might be more motivated now than ever to go out there and win.
And on the flip side of this, this might be a blessing in disguise for Astros fans. I did see that Buck Showalter went and interviewed for the Astro job. That would be a big hire.
That's former Baltimore Orioles. He's been managing for quite a long time. That's probably a good hire. They don't want anybody involved in any of the cheating type stuff. They somebody way outside the organization. They would. You might think, hey, Carlos Beltran, he just got fired, right? Go back to the Astros, but they wouldn't hire Carlos Beltran. They wouldn't hire
anybody that's been caught. They don't want associated. Yeah. So really, only quote 3 people have been probably caught. Right. So, granted, there's 500 plus players in the Major League Baseball that have probably used the same technology or tips or whatever you want to call it to get advantage on batting here. So let's go ahead and shift gears here a little bit. We do have a couple minutes before we take our last break here. Phone lines are open, guys. If you guys feel like calling into the show, 502-771-0364 is the phone lines here. Hall of Fame inductees for the 2020 class have been, officially all announced. Like we have some Jimmy Johnson, Bill Cowher, looking at some more names here. You have Steve Atwater, Carl Banks, Isaac Bruce, just some names here. But the biggest story here is the snub, the 1970s All-Decade team. The only player that has not been on there now is, he got snubbed again. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Drew Pearson is the only member of the first team All-Decade of the not to be inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's a absolute travesty, Michael. This guy had so many big catches in so many games when I was a kid. I mean, Drew Pearson was the man. Him and Lynn Swann and John Stallworth. I mean, those were the top 3 right there. It wasn't Harold Carmichael. Harold Carmichael didn't play in a lot of big games, only a couple that I can remember. And Harold Carmichael for the Philadelphia Eagles got in. Jerry Rice finally broke Drew Pearson's record of 22 straight games, playoff games with a catch. I mean, who appears in 22 playoff games? Drew Pearson appeared in 22 playoff games. I mean, think about that for a second. That is incredible. You're lucky you play in 2 or 3. And
like
so
the most you can have is 4 in a season. So take that into account.
All the way to the Super Bowl.
And as a wild card. Yeah. So
it's kind of ridiculous to play in 22 playoff games. And Jerry Rice finally broke Drew Pearson's record in a Raiders uniform of 22 straight games with a catch, playoff games with a catch. This guy had so many memorable catches. I mean, he was the captain of the Cowboys. all decade. I just don't understand how he does not get in, and it really is a shame. I mean, this guy was the real deal.
Well, let me kind of tell you like how I think that he got snubbed again, because people like myself, like I'm 32 years old. I was born in '87. His career was over before I was even thought of. So like all these sports writers, all these voters don't know those players from like back in the day. So like I believe it was like last year there were a couple people that like from like the 40s and 50s that were like, I'm like I never even heard of this person, you know. So like I definitely see how he could have got snubbed, you know, but looking at his stats, you know, compared to like Isaac Bruce or other people that are already in the Hall of Fame, stats alone, he should definitely be in there. So I definitely feel for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Drew Pearson, you know, people are making comments about, you know, he the way he's been acting late, you know, when he found out he didn't get in, like he seemed like he was selfish or he's a me person. Nah, man, Drew Pearson was all about team with the Cowboys. Never been in trouble. It was team first for Drew Pearson.
Yeah, but like going to the age of, you know, going to like my age, that is how I know him. I know him from a video on Instagram of him throwing down on his hat saying this is bullshit, you know, which it sucks because like I've actually have gone back and I've looked at highlights of like games, and he was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and you know what sucked is that the Cowboys played the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2 Super Bowls in the 70s, and if Dallas had just won one of those matchups, you know, Pittsburgh would have been with 3 Super Bowls, Dallas with 3 Super Bowls, and the tide would have changed there. I think Ed Too Tall Jones would have got in to the Hall of Fame. He's deserving. Harvey Martin is the real snub. Harvey Martin was one of the greatest defensive ends ever to play in NFL history. He's all decade defense, second team, all decade on the defense. 113 sacks, the league in sacks 3 years, Super Bowl MVP, all like a 4 or 5 time All Pro Harvey Martin, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. He's dead now, but that actually might be more of a travesty than Drew Pearson not getting in. And the Cowboys not winning one of those Super Bowls against the Steelers is the reason Ed Too Tall Jones isn't in, Harvey Martin's not in, and Drew Pearson's not in. Just winning one of those games would have turned the tide.
Yeah, I mean, like, unfortunately, like I really can't talk about it because like I wasn't even thought of back then yet. But speaking of being thought of, we are going to take one more break here, guys. A quick 10-15 second break. If you're watching us live here on Facebook, thank you for joining us. The phone lines are open at 502-771-0364. But on the other side of the break, we're going to talk some NFL playoffs. We're going to break down each team and let you guys know how they can win that respective game. Join us on the other side of the break, guys. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Just for Clicks, guys. I am Michael Buckeister, and this is live, raw, and uncut sports talk. I am with Marcus as Sports Break here, a regular guest on Just for Clicks here. And guys, we have covered Odell Beckham Jr. We've covered cheating in baseball. We've covered some Hall of Fame talk, a little bit of Marcus Fultz talks as well. You guys definitely can rewind it and check it out here if you're listening to us live. If you are not listening to us live, be sure to check us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Spreaker as well. So, Marcus, it is championship time in the NFL. AFC championship is happening. NFC championship is happening. We are not going to pick the games yet, even though you kind of let the cat out of the bag yesterday of like who you want to win. But let's go down to each team and let's just tell them how this team can possibly win that game. And we're going to start with the San Francisco 49ers. How can they beat the mighty Green Bay Packers?
They've got the best defense in football. So when they played earlier, Aaron Rodgers looked pretty shaky. He actually looked more shaky than I've ever seen Aaron Rodgers look. And that's the kind of pressure that San Francisco can put on you with their front four. What's amazing about San Francisco is what I just alluded to. They get to the quarterback with their front four. So when you can do that, that helps out the Richard Sherman can talk all he wants about how he can cover zone, the man, all this stuff. When when his team gets pressure with the front four led by Bosa, that does wonders for the secondary. It's actually the opposite of the Texans. They can't get pressure, so their corners cover and the safeties cover forever. It's the opposite with the Niners. You only have to cover for a few seconds if you're a 49er fan, right? Because pass rush. San Francisco will win this. I think they're going to win this game, and how they can win is they're going to put a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and I think Bulaga got hurt last game. Brian Bulaga, the offensive tackle for the Packers, they're a little banged up in that area, but I don't think you with 138 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's got to stay calm, and he can't make big mistakes, just like Ryan Tannehill on the other side. They're the two shaky quarterbacks left that are in this Final Four here. If Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't make mistakes and just becomes that game manager, and they're all game managers, by the way, even the great ones some were just better game managers. But if Jimmy G doesn't make any mistakes and that defense puts pressure on Aaron Rodgers, San Francisco goes home easily to the Super Bowl. And I think it's at least by 10 to 14 points. Yeah,
I think the greatest aspect of this game will be the San Francisco 49ers offense. They have to be able to basically keep the Packers offense off the field, not because their defense is a horrible by any means, but you don't want to give Aaron Rodgers 10, 11, 12 chances to score on you. I mean, like, you can have the best defense in the world. I don't think you can pitch a shutout against the Green Bay Packers. And to minimize that, like, you have to have efficient offensive running game, which they have done pretty much all season. I think they're averaging like 23 points a game, maybe tops. Jimmy G is probably the worst quarterback left in the playoffs. So he has to be an Alex Smith-esque type of quarterback when he was with the Kansas City Chiefs. Give him an early lead, and he will not give you away the game whatsoever, but he won't win you the game either. He will make smart decisions and keep the Packers offense off the field. So I think the 49ers offense is the key to this game, and they have to do what they did last week versus the Minnesota Vikings, and that is a recipe for success. So on the flip side of that coin here, that they are playing the Green Bay Packers. So Marcus, what did the Packers have to do to win this game?
Well, a lot. They're going to have to get the Smith brothers are the best pass rushing tandem in the game right now. Ladarius Smith and Preston Smith. They're going to have to put pressure on Jimmy G and force him to make mistakes. If Jimmy Garoppolo throws a couple interceptions, the Green Bay Packers could stay in this game and could win this game. I don't see that happening. I think Tannehill's the worst quarterback in, although Tannehill's last 10 games is probably better than Jimmy G. If you gave me a choice, I'd rather have Jimmy Garoppolo than Ryan Tannehill. But, I force Jimmy G to make some mistakes. And listen, Kyle Shanahan, I've never been a big believer in Kyle Shanahan. He's the coach of the 49ers. Remember a few years ago, the Super Bowl, when they had that Super Bowl all wrapped up, and all they had to do was run Freeman. And instead they're throwing passes. The quarterback's getting sacked. Matt Ryan's getting sacked. And all they had to do was run a couple of plays. And instead they tried to throw it to Julio Jones. And it totally messed him up. Incompletions and all. It gave the ball right back to Tom Brady. And the rest is history. Kyle Shanahan called those plays. Kyle Shanahan can't get happy with himself and start calling pass plays and getting happy with Jimmy Garoppolo like on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1.
Right.
You've got number 31 back there, number 26 back there. You've got you check. I think they just paid him $5 million this year. He signed a new contract. The fullback, number 44. He wears Tom Rathman's old number. They've got to run the football. You're 100% correct, and keep Aaron Rodgers off that field. And don't let Jimmy G throw the ball 40, 50 times, and you'll be successful. Because that guy can't. Jimmy G might make some mistakes. You just never know. But the Smith brothers will put pressure. So they got to be able to block those guys. And San Francisco has a good offensive line. Staley and them boys are pretty good up front. So, so Green Bay to win, they got to put pressure on Jimmy G, make him force mistakes. That's how they're going to win.
Yeah, I definitely concur of what you said, but this is the ultimate recipe of how to beat the 49ers if you were the Green Bay Packers. Yes, you got to get pressure on the quarterback. Like, I think every team has to get pressure on the quarterback to succeed. Like, that's just, I think that should be number one on everybody's game plan. But number two, you have to strike early if you are Aaron Rodgers. You have to do exactly what you did to the Seattle Seahawks, run a hitch and go, first couple plays of first couple plays of the game, get up 7 points real early, and then have a great defensive stand, and then have a good drive. Be up 10-0 after the first quarter. Pitch a shutout in that first quarter. Put pressure on Jimmy G to no longer be a game manager like he has been all playoffs and most of the second part of the season. Force him to make throws down the field. And when you make him to force him to make throws down the field, that is when the pass rush is going to come. Those Smith brothers can pen their ears back because they have a lead. You cannot run the ball and come back from like 14 points down. So then at that point, like, they are destined to fail. So Packers, you have to jump on them early. First play of the game, run a hitch and go. Have Jimmy Graham run underneath, run everybody off. So you have a hitch and go on the left side. Jimmy Graham run about a 10-yard little curl in underneath. Make them punish them early. That is how the Packers will win that game. Not on the ground, not on the defensive side. It's Aaron Rodgers striking early.
And I can't wait to see how they cover Devontae Adams. If they bring a safety over the top, or they let Richard Sherman maybe go one-on-one with him. I would have Jimmy Ward. I love him. 49ers defensive back. He'll play free safety and corner. Former first-round pick out of Northern Illinois. I'd have him kind of cover Devontae too as well. Get Devontae out of the game. Devontae Adams is the only really. They have some decent receivers. I don't want to cut them down bad, but Devontae Adams is the guy. Bill Belichick was coaching against the Green Bay Packers. Devontae Adams wouldn't have a catch.
Right.
He'd take Devontae right out of the game. So maybe that's something that 49ers defensive coordinators want to look at.
They can try to do that, but Richard Sherman is not the answer. I don't think Richard Sherman can go one-on-one all game with Devontae Adams just like anymore. So they will have to have that safety up over the top. That is when you put Jimmy Graham. I say on the same side as the ball as Devontae Adams, and make that safety pick and choose which one he wants to cover. The safety bites on Adams. You got Jimmy Graham on the inside routes. The safety comes on Jimmy Graham. You got Devontae Adams one-on-one with a slower down Richard Sherman. Hard to defend. I do believe.
Yeah. So solid defensive coordinator for the 49ers. They'll probably get a head coaching job. He's a solid guy. I think he'll find a way to stop the Packers.
Well, you can have the greatest game plan in the world, but if you don't have the talent on the outside to do that, cover Devontae Adams, which he is, I say he's a top 10 receiver in the league, maybe top 5. I don't think you can cover him one-on-one. Like, you have to double team him, and that is when a good tight end comes into play, like Jimmy Graham.
Sure.
So we gave you guys the NFC side there. Now let's jump over to the AFC side here. We all know what the Kansas City Chiefs are going to do. I do believe, but Marcus, how do my Kansas City Chiefs win the game versus the Tennessee Titans?
Jump out on them early. And do the exact opposite of what happened in the divisional against the Texans. And that's actually probably a good thing that happened to them against the Texans, where they got down and they had to come back. That won't happen this coming up Sunday at 2:00. You jump on Tennessee early, then you force Ryan Tannehill to throw the football, and we'll see what happens there. But listen, man, the Kansas City Chiefs. I think you mentioned the other day. You didn't know how you were a little shaky in my predictions about against out. But listen, the Kansas City Chiefs are like a layup drill, Michael. I mean, this is. I haven't seen this since the 94 49ers and the 99 Rams. They can score at will. Their tight end is as good as anybody. Their receivers, although not big, they're fast. McCole Hardman, Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill. And what's crazy is they scored 51 points on the Texans, right?
Right.
Did you see Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins just go off? No. So
no, they didn't catch one pass over 20 yards.
Yeah. So,
nobody did.
And the Texans, they held everything underneath. They didn't let them. They didn't. I guess Romeo Corona didn't want to get beat deep, so he let them just massacre them. Underneath. And it was just. Listen, Tyreek Hill was right. I think Tyreek Hill mentioned earlier in the week that we can't be stopped, and he's probably right. I think the only team left that can't stop the Chiefs are the 49ers. So listen, you get up early on the Tennessee Titans, and I think it's as Bill Paxton said in Aliens, man, the movie Aliens, game over, man, game over.
Yeah, this is going to be a carbon copy of like how the Packers beat the 49ers. The Chiefs are going to do the same thing. You have to jump on Tennessee early. God not saying like you have to go deep on them early, but you have to do what you guys been doing. In the second quarter of every game this year, the Kansas City Chiefs are the best second quarter team in the NFL this season. Just transfer that over to the first quarter. Don't give Tennessee any hope whatsoever. Patrick Mahomes has to come out firing hot in this game. Give it to your speed guys. Some reverse sweeps, some of those little touch passes that people like to run now. The slowest receiver on the Kansas City Chiefs runs a 4.4. Take that into accountability. The slowest receiver runs a 4.4. You have people running 4.2s, a 4.19, and a 4.3. Like, it's stupid. Use your speed. Outrun the Tennessee Titans. Let Patrick Mahomes do what he does. Once you get up 21, 28 points in the first half, give it to Shady McCoy. Let that man eat a little bit. Just do what you do in the second quarter. Just do it early. On the other side of the coin here, Marcus, how do the Tennessee Titans beat the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, the conventional thing is obviously, you run big boy there, number 22, and you keep Derrick Henry, and you keep Kansas City off the field. I think that's a lot easier said than done. Kansas City, I think, will gear up and stop the run. They're going to make Ryan Tannehill beat them. Ryan Tannehill's got to find his receivers. A.J. Brown's a good receiver. Davis is a good receiver. And Ryan Tannehill's a good play-action quarterback. Anybody in the NFL, though, should. You have a running game like that. Tennessee's offensive line is the best offensive line left in the playoffs. So Derrick Henry's got some good offensive linemen led by Taylor Lewan there, a kid out of Michigan. He's a really good player. But listen, how are you going to beat Chiefs? You got to put pressure on them. Jarrell Casey's got to push that pocket. Big number 99 in the middle there for Tennessee. He's a hell of a player, Pro Bowler. That secondary is pretty good for Tennessee. We'll see how the matchups work. I think they're going to get destroyed though. But I kind of like Logan Ryan. I like Byard. I like some of these Tennessee players. I watch them all the time. They play the Texans twice a year. I respect them. I respect their coach, Mike Vrabel. Landry, they got a kid named Landry out of Boston College they picked up a couple years ago, can rush the passer really well. They've got to put pressure on Mahomes, but I just don't see it, keeping Kansas City off the field. This is what I think will happen. I think Derrick Henry's going to get his 180, and I think he's going to score a couple of touchdowns, and I think they're still going to lose 44-21.
Well, that is not how the Tennessee Titans are going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs there, but let me give you a outline here. They did it to the Baltimore Ravens. They kept Lamar Jackson off the field, even though they did not win the time of possession battle. Excuse me, my throat's dry here. Give me 1 second. Sorry, but that is how the Tennessee Titans are going to win this game. They have to take away the running game from the Kansas City Chiefs. People are all worried about that passing game. No. Take away the running game. Take away the underneath routes. Let Patrick Mahomes try to go deep on you. Single up the receivers. Give them some space, but take away the slant routes. Take away the reverses. Take away the RPOs. Let them beat you deep. A wise man once told me, you have to make a pretty accurate throw to throw the ball 60 yards on a dime to hit a receiver in stride. Man, my throat is killing me all of a sudden. But that is how you beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Let them go deep on you. Take away the underneath stuff. Take away the runs. And then you still do you. Do not overthink your offense. Run the ball. Run your play action reads. Maintain the ball. And then let Patrick Mahomes make a mistake. We saw it versus Denver a couple years ago. When they went to Mile High, people were, I believe they were undefeated, like at the time still, and they had to make an incredible comeback because that's exactly what the Denver Broncos did. They took away the running game, they took away the short passing game, made them beat them deep. That's how the Tennessee Titans are going to win.
That's a tall order. I mean, I don't see it, Michael. You're asking me how does Tennessee win? Yeah, I mean, you got to run Derrick Henry. Play action passing, like I mentioned earlier, you get them in some play action passing. AJ Brown and Corey Davis are pretty good receivers. That's how you beat them. You got to get pressure on Mahomes too. That's how you can win. I don't see it. I think Tennessee is overmatched in this game. Overmatched.
I agree with you that 100%. I think they're overmatched. I think they are outcoached. I think they are outmanned with as far as athletes go. But that is how you get pressure on Patrick Mahomes is you make him go deep. You take away the underneath routes. You take away the running game. I mean, you can't take away everything. So make him make a perfect throw 60 yards to Cheetah. I would rather be beat 80 yards deep on a single play than let them do a 10 to 12 play drive on me, dinking and dunking underneath, because when they do that, that keeps my offense off of the field. When they beat me deep, my offense comes right back on the field, coming to play against a tired Kansas City's defense because they were just on the field for 10 plays. Come back 2 plays later and they're back on the field. That's going to wear on.
Is Chris Jones going to play? Because he missed the Texans game with that. Is it a calf injury? I'm not sure what it is.
I thought he played, but he injured it at right around halftime. But he's missed practice all week.
He didn't play at all in the Texans game, and let's see if he comes back for this game. That's going to be interesting. He's a dominator inside a defensive tackle. He'd be a key to stopping Henry.
But. Man, just like you alluded to, I don't think the Tennessee Titans do have a chance against the Chiefs, though.
No, I think Henry might get his, and they're still going to lose. You can't run your way to victory. I'm telling you right now, not when it gets to this level, not to the AFC and NFC championship game. This isn't high school, Michael, where you have the best running back athlete, and then he takes you to the state championship because nobody can stop him. That doesn't work in professional football, man. That just does not work.
Well, there is a reason why college offenses normally don't work in the NFL either, because everybody's so much faster and whatnot too. Everybody at this level is at the same level at the end of the day. Whether you are the number 1 overall pick or you're the 130th pick, you are still a top 100 athlete that particular year. So, Marcus, let's just go ahead and give the people a little spoiler alert. Like we have a couple minutes left here. Who do you have winning the Packers-49ers game?
I got the 49ers 30 and the Packers 20.
Does that take you back to your childhood a little bit when, as always, the Packers and 49ers and Cowboys in the NFC?
Yeah, no, it does. It's kind of like, okay, now where's Dallas at? Yeah.
Right.
They're at
First
home.
exit. No.
Yeah, they're at home. This is it's a Steve Young game. He threw to Terrell Owens in 1998.
Right.
He threw the game-winning touchdown and beat the Packers. Yeah, this is fun. This is good. This is good old school stuff. 49ers, Packers. But I just see the Niners, the better defense. They got a good running game, good offense. They have just enough on offense to win. But I just see Aaron Rodgers running for his life. Bosa and Bosa and them boys up there. I just don't see it. It's 49ers 30, Packers 20.
And I am on the exact opposite on that. I do have the Packers winning the game 28-14. Aaron Rodgers might be running for his life, but he's going to be dropping dimes to Devontae Adams all game long. Richard Sherman or any of the secondary just cannot single cover him, or you're going to have Jimmy Graham underneath here. On the flip side of the coin, you had the Titans taking on the Chiefs. I think everybody knows the answer to this one, but who do you got?
I got Tennessee 44. Kansas City Chiefs 44, Tennessee 21. I think Derrick Henry gets his. It's not like they're not going to stop him. You're not going to see a game where Derrick Henry has 20 carries for 50 yards. No, he's going to have 150 yards. He'll score a couple of touchdowns, and it won't mean anything. It won't mean a hill of beans.
I do have the Chiefs. I do have the Chiefs winning this game. I have them pulling away late, adding on a couple late touchdowns. So I think it's going to be a slugfest of a game. It is super cold in Kansas City right now. I believe we had about 3 or 4 inches of snow up there this week. So it is going to be cold. Might slow down that offense a little bit. I have it being 28-24 with about 4 minutes left in the game. Kansas City adds on a couple late touchdowns, making it 42-24 final.
That sounds about right. So you have a Packers. You got a Packers Chiefs, and I've got a Chiefs Niners. So
right.
I realistically think the only team that can the Chiefs is the 49ers. That's the only team I think that can stop the Chiefs. And I can't wait to see where they line up the Honey Badger, how he comes up there and is in play to tackle Derrick Henry. I want to see that collision.
I want to see D4 line 3 yards offsides to cost the 49ers the NFC Championship.
Yeah, there you go.
That is going to be it for today's show. Guys, thank you for joining us. Join me tomorrow, 10 p.m. East Coast time. Feel free to call into the show. Phone lines are open from the time we start the show to the time we end the show. 502-771-0364. Join me tomorrow, guys. I'm out.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Just for Clicks, featuring your host, Michael Buckeister. Tune in next time once again for Just for Clicks.